Hey guys, what's up? It's been a while, but it's Jamie Tourmaline and I'm back with some videos. I've been doing a lot of yoga videos, which are always rooted in my practice of witchcraft and general spirituality. I'm thinking of doing another video that is like yoga as a ritual. But in the meantime, I do want to create some more of these videos where I sit here and I talk to you and I give you some witchy recs. So today's video is going to be what I have in my bookshelf as a witch. So it's quite an eclectic bookshelf. I just upgraded my bookshelf to a brand new big one. My other one was just at capacity. There were books everywhere. So I'm going to dive in and show you some of the books that I have on my bookshelf. I do read fiction, but I'm not a huge fiction reader. I am mostly a nonfiction reader, and I do read a lot of spiritual books and stuff like that. So there's books of like all different kinds of faiths in here. I really just like to stay informed and just like, I feel like every single spirituality has something that I can really take away with me and can better my life. So I'm really like, I don't know, a very omnistic worldview, I would say. So I think my bookshelf definitely reflects that, but there are some fiction books that can also help with the practice, or at least my practice, and just are entertaining regardless. Okay, so here is the bookshelf in question. I'm quite proud of it. Let me see if I could back away and get like a full view of this gorgeous bookshelf. And clearly I have it somewhat organized. I do have my cards up here, just a few of them because I have a lot. Box of Emotions, a citrine crystal, and Liminal Spirits Oracle. I got this at the Yankees game, don't judge me. And then I have these, I have these astrology candles that we got for my wedding party, because I mean, look at them, they're so cute. So I have those, they're decorative at the top here. And like, let's dive into the first shelf, I guess. So clearly I'm not going to go through every single book that I own, but I am going to point out some key ones that I think are really significant. So the first one I'm going to choose is actually, I think it's my favorite book of all time, and it's Jack Kerouac, Dharma Bums. And I just thought that this book was so profound. I read it when I was in college, and I love Jack Kerouac and his like beat poetry, and just, oh my God, his writing is so beautiful. And I've always felt like really connected to the beat generation. Just, I feel like I'm a nomad, and I feel like I believe in a lot of different things, and I just want to experience life, not too connected to like materialism and stuff like that. And in this book, he really dives into being a bodhisattva, or a believer of Buddha, a follower of Buddha, and he sort of just carries his little rucksack and can of beans and travels without anything, really just himself, and he's really just looking for enlightenment. And I just, once again, I just think it's so profound. And I also have On the Road, which is another one of Jack Kerouac's similar theme, but it really has a lot of amazing wisdom. It's Bohemia, it's the beat generation, it's the life of Zen, but almost in a modern perspective. I think this took place in the 50s or 60s, or his life did, and he was just such a champion of the culture. So he really, like, I love all his writing. He's probably my favorite author. So the Dharma Bums, #1 rec right off the bat. Okay, next up on my bookshelf is a book about eco-criticism. And I actually have two books about eco-criticism. This one is from Greg Gerard, and the other one is edited by Ken Hiltner. And when I was in college, I took a class that dove into eco-criticism. So if you are unsure of what eco-criticism is, it's basically going into literary criticism based from an ecological lens. So you like basically it dives into different ways in which we discuss nature, we discuss the earth, we discuss ecology in fiction, in poetry, in all sorts of different literary writings, and even in the media. I think these two books mainly deal with writing, but it goes into ecofeminism and eco-racism, all the different ways in which ecology exists in literature. I particularly find ecofeminism extremely interesting and very telling. I don't know. I feel like as women, we live lives that are so inexplicably connected to nature, and this just the synchronicities between the way that we talk about women and the way that we talk about the earth is so interconnected. And in that same vein, I have a whole book on the wildflowers of North America. I don't think I've ever cracked that bad boy open, but it's there nonetheless. And next, I have many books that are related. Sorry, I'm so shaky. I'm trying to make sure I'm not covering the speaker on this. So many books that have to do with the Greek and Roman mythology. Surprise, surprise. If you haven't watched my Aphrodite video, please check that out. Quite a lot of people seem to like that, so maybe I'll make more videos about that too. But of course, top shelf of the book shelf is the Odyssey of Homer. And I could read this 1,000,005 times and still find something in it that is just so significant to me. It is basically a humongous book of poetry. So if you were interested in that sort of thing and you haven't read the Odyssey, I feel like everybody should read the Odyssey at least once in their life. I was so lucky to have read it in Italy when I went to, well, I read it when I was like in high school, but then I reread it a few years ago when I was visiting Italy, and it just, I don't know, it hit different. So it was really beautiful. And then I have a few fiction books based on Greek gods. I have not read this one yet, but I have Circe, and I'm really excited. I love to check out the little free libraries in my town, and I found that one there. I used to have it, but The Song of Achilles, I read that one. That was a good book. I put it back in the little free library because I got that one there too. That was a good book. So usually when I read fiction, I have to like take a break and go back to nonfiction because I'm just really not a fiction reader. But I read that one. That was the last fiction book I read. And so I'm taking a break, reading my nonfiction, and then I'm going to go back to probably read Circe next. It's by the same author too. I have a book on Greek and Roman myths. And I also have, I think I have a bigger book on Greek and Roman myths in here too. I have a few. I also have a book on Egyptian myths and the Egyptian Book of the Dead. That is in a different room. It's not in this bookshelf, but I'm so interested in the mythologies, and there's so much magic in there. There's so much, there's literally spells in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. So I don't know. I'm interested by this kind of thing. So if you are too, keep watching. In the same vein of eco-criticism, I have Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. Once again, one of those things you have to read in your lifetime. It deals with ecology, especially DDT, which was used as a pesticide, and it was linked to cancer and horrible things, and it was finally banned because of her book. So, and then finally on this bookshelf, I have it sideways because I started reading it while I was in Hawaii, and I paused because I picked up a book on the life of Buddha from the Byodo Inn temple in Oahu. So I took a sidetrack to read that, but so far this book is really good. It deals with opening your heart chakra and the heart energy within you and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to continue to read this. It's been on my shelf for so long. So that was my first shelf. And then now I'm going to go into my second shelf. Once again, I'm not showing every single book on the shelf, but I am showing some good ones. So I got my tarot cards over here. And first off, I have this lovely gift from my friend Dee. If you're watching this, hi. It's a howlite little mushroom house. And then I have this book that I got in New York City. It's The Witch's Love Spell Book. Clearly, it's been used. I use this all the time. I used to use it for myself all the time, but I found my partner, so now I use it for my friends. And it's got not just love, but also self-love. And it's a pocket book. So it's so cute. I'm just gonna point some of these out. So The Modern Guide to Witchcraft is a good book for beginners. I think sometimes a lot of the books that are for beginners are redundant. I think this is I really enjoyed reading it when I was a beginner, and it really had a lot of knowledge, some beginner spells and stuff like that. I think it also tells you how to induct yourself into witchcraft, which is something you might want to take the time to do if you're serious, just, anoint yourself sort of thing. So I really did enjoy that. If you're well versed in witchcraft, I don't know if it would benefit you. But this book was from my friend. She went to Salem. Melody, shout out to you. It's called The Witch's Cabinet by Corinne Boyer. And Corinne Boyer is a wealth of information on herbs and just like the mystery behind plants and the traditions and like all that good stuff. She was on a podcast that I listen to all the time called What Magic Is This? I think that's what it's called. And I'm forgetting the man who runs that podcast's name, but I think it's Doug, whatever. And she went and talked about herbs and just how powerful they are and their use in magic and sorcery. And so that is a really good book to read for more information about herbs. I realize this is going to be a really long video because I got a lot of witchy books. So I'm going to have to run through these a lot quicker than I thought. I think this shelf has the most witchy books on it, though. Pop Magic is really good by Alice Kazemi. This was recommended by Madonna, so I'm going to listen to what she has to say. And he really practices Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism. So there's a lot in Kabbalah about like the self and the internal world and how to empower yourself and stuff like that, which translates to like manifestation and stuff like that. So I know Alex Kazemi is very well versed in Kabbalah, and so is Madonna. She was on Jay Shetty's podcast, by the way, talking about Kabbalah. So if you're interested in that, check that out. I have this Magic Spells and Incantations little book. I don't know where I got this, actually. And it's just filled with like a lot of information. I don't know. It's cute. I like the design on the front. Book of Symbols just has like archetypal information in that. This is my most recommended book. Whenever I post this book, people flood my comments like what book is this? What book is this? Moonology by Yasmin Boland. So we just had a full moon in Taurus, and it literally tells you like what the energy is like and questions you should ask yourself, some like messages, and it does that for the full moon, for the new moon, the lunar eclipse or solar eclipse, and also through the houses. So if like the moon's transiting through one of your houses, what that would mean for you. I post this pretty much like every moon cycle, and people are like, I need that book. So top secret information here. You're hearing it first. Oh my God, Okay, I've recovered. Now we have some spell books. There is a little tiny book in here I found on TikTok, A Manual for Manifesting Your Dream Life. I love that book. I read it all the time, and it's short, so I can like read it in a day, and it just reminds me of myself and like what I need to do to manifest my dream life. Daily Rituals also helps you to get into just more in alignment with yourself. Moon Magic. This book just goes over the moon cycles. It's like, for beginners, I would say. There's another book called Moon Spells, and I did one of the spells, and it was incredible. Like, the spell book is better than the magic book, but this is for beginners. Oh, here's the Egyptian myths. crystals. I have a lot of books about crystals, like my crystal Bible. If you were to get any crystal book, get the Bible, okay? Get the crystal Bible. It has so much information in it. Like, look how thick it is. So, like, every crystal you could ever imagine. And if you are interested in herbs or green witchery, Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. Every herb you could think of and what it does for you and your properties. And I actually reference this like a textbook because it'll say like, you know, magical, oh my God, I'm struggling. It'll say the magical uses, or you can even go into the index and see like, oh, I want something for psychic powers. And then you could see, oh, okay, mugwort, and then flip to the page. So Scott Cunningham, I love you forever. And yes, I saw you eyeing that up. My curse book, okay? I got this because sometimes I just like walking into a bookstore and getting a dark magic book because people will turn their heads. But I don't think I've ever done a spell from this book. Genuinely, I think they're a little more involved in, yeah, I'm just not interested in that. I usually do my own thing if I act badly, but I don't do that because I'm a good witch. I'm a good witch. All right, time for shelf 3. Wait, where am I? Shelf 3. All right, guys, this is the shelf of my yoga and spirituality. There are a few witch books here, but I'm going to dive right in. Okay, so check out my big Lumerian rose crystal. So Lumerian crystals are said to hold knowledge within their ritualated areas. How gorgeous. I love it. And then I got these mana cards when I was in Hawaii recently, and I've been really wanting them. I'm going to have to put them down here so you can see the books, though. Joe Dispenza. If you are to get any books to help you manifest, it would be Joe Dispenza's books. I love Joe Dispenza. I've read every single one of his books. My favorite is Becoming Supernatural, but my friend took it from me because it was just so amazing. So this is a good one too. Basically, how you manifest your life, how you overcome obstacles. This is a cute book, Healing Trees. It helps you really connect with the aura of trees and really rely on them for their healing powers and just forest bathing in general. I love this book. Check it out. A book for healing your entire body. It goes through the chakras is Anatomy of Spirit. I love Caroline Myss. She's been on Oprah. She has her own like shows on Gaia, and she's just an incredible like wealth of knowledge. She will basically say like health issues are caused in the body by trapped energy or in a specific chakra based on the things that we might have gone through. And when you read about it, like I know some of the things that I've gone through in my life she talks about, and I'm like, that's so accurate. Okay, this one's so funny. I got this because I was going through a sober era without like alcohol and stuff like that. It's the Book of Highs, Ways to Alter Your Consciousness Without Drugs, and it's like ecstatic dance and I don't know, waving your head upside down and just like so many fun things. Definitely an interesting read. Nostradamus. I haven't read this yet, but I want to dive into his prophecies. I'm obsessed with Nostradamus. Like, I want to know. Look, see, I got it on sale. I love that shit. I have a few Sanaya Roman books. She's the one that wrote Soul Love at the beginning. Spiritual Growth, 2 really good books. Louise Hay, Heal Your Body. You already know. She basically has an affirmation for every single ailment. For example, vomiting is a violent rejection of ideas, fear of the new, and then affirmations. Obviously get some, doctor's help if you're really going through something, but I love the spiritual take on that, which, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like that book. She's very, I don't know. I don't want to project assumptions onto her. I just didn't like the book itself. For beginners, I would say. It's a poetry book. Psychic Witch is interesting. Palm reading guide. This is an astrology book. It definitely will go, if you're trying to learn, actually it's not astrology, it's tarot. But if you're trying to learn the tarot cards, it goes in in depth on each one of the tarot cards. So it could really help if you're trying to learn the tarot cards to really dissect them. Some spiritual books. I have Eckhart Tolle. I love both of these books, but if I were to reread any of them, I would say A New Earth. Fun fact, it's been on Oprah's book club twice. It's like the only book ever to be featured twice. So yes, this was my first book I've ever gotten spiritual wise, and it changed literally the path of my life. I think The Power of Positive Energy. And it's not one of those books that's like, pretend none of your problems exist. Look how much it is well loved. I passed it around because it's just really profound. It's like a reminder that we are so blessed, and even when you're going through tough times, to like really try to focus on the positive. Okay, I have a really funny story about this next book. It's called Outrageous Openness. And one time I was in New York and I was in a Barnes & Noble, and this girl was like, "Are you looking for anything in particular?" Not an employee, just a girl, like a patron. "Are you looking for anything in particular?" And I was like, "No, I'm just sort of looking. I usually just let my intuition like look for me." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And like we were sort of just hanging out in the same spiritual section. And then she's like, "Wait, I feel like I have the book that you need to read." And I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "It's called Outrageous Openness by Tasha Silver and blah, blah, blah." And it really helped me and it was amazing. And I was like, "Okay, like, where is it?" So we looked, following the Dewey Decimal System or whatever. And it wasn't there, but there was like another one of her books there. She's like, "Oh man, like it's not there. Oh well." So we're like, whatever. Like, I was like, "Well, thanks for like trying." Next thing you know, she went to a different section, and she like was like, "Oh my God," she found it. It was in a different section by mistake, and she was like, "It's right here." So I read it, and it was pretty interesting. It wasn't groundbreaking, but it was pretty interesting. But I thought the story was really cool. Like the book literally found me. So yeah, I like the book. Also, I'm a huge Osho fan. So I love Osho so much. I have this one. This is Compassion, Being in Love, Emotional Wellness. I think I read a few more online or listened to him. I watch him on like YouTube all the time. A huge Osho fan. I feel like he is very profound and has a lot of wisdom to share the world. Even though he sadly has departed our world. But yeah, I love Osho. Guys, remember when I said that Dharma Bums was my favorite book? I may have lied. I don't know. It's between Dharma Bums or Autobiography of a Yogi. I really loved this book. I read it for my yoga teacher training, and once again changed the trajectory of my life. I think I just found so much, I don't know, I got so much out of this book, and it just depicts Yogananda's life, but I really enjoyed the stories and I don't know, like the wisdom that is in this book, and I don't know, it really transformed my life. So I don't know if this would be my favorite book or Dharma Bums. It might be a tie. I love them both, but it might have to be Dharma Bums. I don't know. But still, I love Autobiography of a Yogi, and it's definitely amazing for anybody who's into yoga, I think. Even if that's not necessarily like the path that you want to go down, I think that it's just filled with wisdom. And this is what I have in my bookshelf as a witch edition. So, guys, I have Tantra books, and I can't really show I don't know if I could show the whole thing because it's her like whole booty crack, but Urban Tantra, such a great book. Definitely, if you're into Tantra, I had a moment where I was really into that. And then there's one, Tantric Awakening. Very, very interesting. Please stop barking, doggy. Please stop barking. Anyway, that's what's in my book. The fourth shelf, I have some bookmarks that I have in here. Little pumpkin, because why not? And this is where it gets even more unhinged. I have some astrology books. This is the best astrology book that I have. The only astrology book you'll ever need, and that is the truth. I'm about to knock everything over. I've got some Irish fairy and folk tales, which I haven't read yet because I've been planning to read it if I visit Ireland or Scotland again. I was in Scotland before, but I haven't been to Ireland, so I've been waiting for that. More mythology. Evolution of a Goddess. That goes over like archetypes of women. I think it's interesting. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I think it's interesting. I found this in the little free library about aliens. Super excited to read that. It's on my list. I love aliens. So this was also in the little free library. I haven't read it yet. Something more. She was on Oprah Super Soul Sunday, so that was interesting. 48 Laws of Power, guys. I hated this book. I'm sorry. It was too much. Very like how to manipulate people in your life, and I'm not about that, so I don't like that. But I do love my little peace book. It has little prayers, inspirations, and meditations to heal our world, just little insights on peace and stuff, and I just love reading that from time to time, making me feel hopeful about the world. The Mountain Is You, about self-sabotage. Oh my god, guys, watch my Moldavite video. I talk about this in that video. Yeah, I mean, Decode Your Dreams. I really don't read that because, and I'll tell you why. I genuinely have the craziest dreams. Like, I have a dream and I'm like, what does this mean? So I'll open that book and it's not in there because I'm like, who would dream something like that? But if you have very basic dreams or random dreams that aren't out of the ordinary necessarily, get that book. And then, what else do I have? I was a theater major in college, so I have my William Shakespeare ginormous book and a few of his plays and other things. Freeing the Natural Voice for my voice coaching. Favorite William Shakespeare play is Macbeth, for sure. Then I have my yoga teachers, the final shelf, by the way. For the bigger books, my yoga teacher manual. I was really into like art, especially this weird, crazy kind of art. I loved Fructose magazine. So if you're into like pop surrealism, that's the magazine for you. And then I have, let's see here. Once again, a great beginner's book, Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft. It's like a manual. This is an interesting one I got, and it's Ascension to the Fifth Dimension. So this person, Daniel Scranton, channels the Arcturians, which, if you know, you know. But there are supposedly different races of aliens that can be channeled and talked to. So this, they sort of just talk about how to heal, how to ascend, how to manifest and stuff like that. And the last book I'll show you is this book my husband got me. Thank you, Pasquale. The Lost Book of Herbal Remedies. And this is an amazing book to like reference if you have something going on. Obviously, of course, seek medical help. But I like to self-heal. So I will go in here, or like you can look at the index and say, oh my god, I'm having an ulcer. Page 52 has something on it that can like heal me, I guess. I can't see the page numbers. You know what I mean. Oh, here we go. There we go. So, yeah. So anyway, that is just a taste of what I have on my bookshelf as a witch. So if you have any questions about a book, if I ran through it too fast, or you're intrigued by one I didn't mention, let me know in the comments. And I love giving these sorts of recommendations. I think I'm going to have to do a series of witchy recommendations. So yeah. Thanks for watching, and I love you guys, and mwah, thank you, bye!